What's up, everybody?
Dog!
This is Cinco Squad with Jonathan Boyer, Pat in the Hat, Mike DeSanto, and Grandpa Jay. What's going on, fellas? How's your week been?
Just petting dogs, drinking beers.
Work, more work.
Talk to them, Rihanna.
A little bit of
basketball.
Rihanna, chill out.
I've been Rihanna in all week too, man.
Well, she got to go to the Super Bowl, so.
Hey, we did too. By way of the Eagles.
There you go.
Just like
virtually.
Just like Gandalf. Please, someone get that reference.
But yeah, it's been a great week of sports. We have championship week this week. Mike and I went live last night. You know, it was just random too, honestly. Like we just honestly felt like talking basketball. We were talking on the phone and I was like, let's just go live and start talking about basketball. So we did that for maybe a half hour, and it was great. We had a few viewers on there, his cousin and my buddy Shane, and you know, just shot the shit for a few hours. But yeah, I mean, it's been a great week of college basketball. Got a lot of I know. But you know, ultimately, you know, look at Baylor going down this week already, and you know, it's gonna be a great weekend. So
looking forward to it.
Yeah, unfortunately, Pat, you know, we don't get to enjoy any of that. So
it's not even unfortunate anymore. It's just like
it sucks. It sucks.
It is now.
But like that's what I was talking to Mike last night on the show, is that it was something where the NCAA tournament was important for Syracuse fans and everything, but we looked more forward to the Big East tournament, like every year. Yep. And we just thought, okay, we're going to the tournament, so we'll be there, but this is what we live for. Like,
honestly, it was more like nostalgic too.
Yeah,
because you get to watch the conference tournaments in school in the classrooms, and teachers bring out the big tube TVs, belt buckled to the carts, bring them in. You're like, oh shit, man! Every class is gonna be like this. Gonna watch basketball.
You knew it was gonna be a good day.
What class? I must have not been in any of those classes.
What school did you go to, bro?
I know, bro. Like,
you need to go to that.
No.
I always coerce the teachers, be like, hey, we gotta watch Syracuse basketball. That's the only time I ever talked in class.
Pat always had the fun teachers. I always had the old teachers that were just
you got the
me.
curmudgeon ones. I got the new ones that are like, I don't want to teach either.
So Jamie,
look at me now.
So I was just texting Pat about it back when I was in like 6th, 7th, 8th grade. I used to like just be like, "Oh, Mom, I don't feel good. Can you come pick me up?" Just around like 11:30, and she'd come down, pick me up, go grab me food, and I sit there and watch that Big East tournament the whole day. Like, she's like, "You're not sick?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am. I'm sick of this game."
Unbelievable.
I'm sick of not watching.
I remember one time in one of my I can't remember what class. It was like a media class at UT. And I had found this little TV like in a pawn shop. I'm like, yes. I'm talking like 2000, early 2000. So it's not streaming on a phone. So I set this thing up and I have the game on it. I'm in class, right? And I have my laptop set like this and I have it in front of me. And it was a little too loud. And all of a sudden, the teacher's like, what's that? And the guy's nudging me. I'm like, what? Teacher's like, what's that? I'm like, the game. And I go back in and like, what the hell?
The game.
Right? And I'm like, and everybody's pausing me. And I'm like, I just look around to everybody. I'm like, yo, it's March Madness. Like, if y'all not into this shit, then screw y'all. But I'm watching the game. And I just went right back into it.
So you got the work done.
And it makes it even better now, you know, like that I work from home. And like Pat, we did bring it up yesterday though, that, you know, it is kind of bullshit. You know, I think work, you know, America should definitely give us the week off. Reset so we can watch March Madness and
should that happen this week or should that happen in the best time of the tournament, which is the first weekend?
Okay, fine. We'll skip March. We'll skip March.
March in the first week of April.
March in the first week of April. You're off.
First Monday of April.
You're done.
No, because you need to recover. You have to recover. If your team won the national championship that Monday, you need the rest of that week to recover and celebrate.
Sure.
Plus, baseball started too, and everyone
exactly. I need my opening day. I need.
Everyone needs to go to opening days.
I remember doing that too as a kid when go to the Chiefs opening day.
I never did that. Yeah, you
guys. My dad. I lived a better life. We lived right down the street.
Games, God damn it.
Sorry, next time I'll pick you up.
I used to do
In
that for
another
opening day.
lifetime.
First Yankee game of the season, my parents had let me stay home to watch whatever day it was on.
Damn, you guys got parents?
Shut
Wow.
up! You have parents.
All right, so
My
the
mom
rest,
watches this too. She's gonna love that joke.
the rest of the episode is going to be the three of us counseling Pat on apparently these childhood issues that he has.
I mean, it would make
He
a lot
lived
of
right
sense.
down the street from me. Enough.
It only took one opening day for John to brand, and my life would have been corrected. But he didn't.
If he had gotten to watch opening day, stay home.
See
from
what
school
had
one
happened is
time.
I had 2 tickets and then okay. So what y'all sipping on tonight?
Anyway,
Therapy's weird. All right.
how does that make you feel?
Makes me feel like I want to drink a beer. A
Pat?
nice, refreshing La Bad Blue Light.
We're
So
just going
Pat-
rapid fire.
Yeah,
So,
rapid
Pat-
fire. Hold them up all at once.
So Pat, you're sipping on a blue light. Jamie's sipping on that coconut water.
On that Cocoa Glow.
Oh, no.
John
And-
got
Cocoa Glow.
I got my Celsius tonight to stay up for the show and my jugs.
Nice.
Mike, I think it's just your segment. I don't think it's ours.
It
You
really
just
is.
hurry up so we can get to you, bro.
Yeah.
I realize that. The thing
Move.
is, everybody, and this is not just a ploy to get you to watch all our old episodes if you haven't. Where am I?
Sorry.
I'm gone.
I'm messing with shit.
This is not just a ploy to get you guys to go back and watch all the old episodes. Go through the episodes. I swear that if you go through them in chronological order, you will find that what you're sipping on to get to me, it gets shorter and shorter
Oh, yeah.
every episode.
This is definitely the shortest one.
Yes.
Yeah.
I am sipping
Yeah, he
on.
didn't even let me get what you're sipping off.
Yeah, he's just like,
What,
all
Mike,
right.
what you doing?
I mean, it was a perfect segue, man. It was a perfect segue.
I am drinking this, which if you guys remember, I can't remember what episode it was on, but I had
Go back and watch them.
we'll go back and watch them. Go check. Somebody go check for me. Watch all the episodes and make sure. That Choco Vine, that chocolate and red wine.
Yeah,
Oh,
you've had that.
yeah.
You've had that.
I have hold on. I have had it, but I have not had this one. This is chocolate and espresso.
What?
So it's not a drink.
I mean,
You're having an espresso?
he's drinking.
No,
it.
it's chocolate, espresso, and red wine,
Ooh,
and
buddy,
it tastes delicious.
that's like a high end.
You just don't want to go to sleep tonight, huh?
Well, you know,
Because espresso is supposed to get you
Keep you up.
caffeine.
No, Mike's got the pinkies up version of Four Loko right now.
I guess so. That's what we should all do one night. Is all 4 of us get 4 local cans?
that is a bad idea. That is a bad idea.
Why is it a bad idea?
It's a great idea. That show could go off the rails quick.
I'll think that's a good idea, sir.
Off the rails. We're each going to take a sip of Four Loko, and we can officially just break the rails. I mean, it's just
We'll be looking like Ohio. How many trains go off the rails there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God.
all right. Well, we
Look
just
at
lost
that.
any potential viewer in Ohio. That's great.
Mhm.
Fuck them.
I don't want to. Pat, I don't want to. You do it.
Our 5th members from Ohio.
Sorry, tried.
See, this is one of those. But
This
is one of those.
is
episodes
when we
where
put
you pop
Pat on a timeout.
Yeah.
Time out.
He muted.
That's it.
Where's that try screen? Let's just go try screen. Like 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Dunce time out. Put Pat in the corner with the dunce hat. Try screen.
Let's
But
have me with a good time.
so, boys, how did your parlays do? I heard Jamie did pretty well. So, how'd you guys do last week?
4-1.
4-1.
Both of you? Both of you?
Both of
Four
us.
and one. Man.
And what would that have paid out if you guys hit?
If we went on a 10-team parlay for like $50, we could have won thousands of
Yeah.
dollars. If we
That
had
would have been
thousands of dollars.
So you want to do it? You want to do it this week for? I'll send you money when we'll do it for this weekend for the championship week.
All right, Pat, you got it. You got to put in with your book. I'll send you money too.
All right.
We gotta do it by the end of the show.
Yeah.
I'll Venmo me my money.
How much?
Anyone watching?
Pat's our new book, by the way. He's making money off us. Bro, it was a heartbreaker for me. The Bucks were up for the entire game. 15-point lead in the fourth quarter. And then they freaking
I don't even remember.
give up the game to the Sixers with like a minute to go and lose by 3. Heartbreaker.
I lost to New Mexico over a Colorado State game. That was it.
Oh,
That was it.
damn.
Incredible.
All right.
Have you
Jamie.
Have you seen the whole new thing about this band of guys that have all gone in and Des Bryant's jumped in their group, their betting group? Have you heard about this?
No.
So there's a band of guys that just said, some guy texted in their group chat and he was like, fuck it, let's just go for it, guys. And so they do this like 9 or 10 team parlay and they say, we're going to go to Vegas if we hit. They do it for $10 or something and they end up winning like almost $2,000. So they're like, well, let's do it tomorrow. And Des Bryant gets in on it and hears about it. He's like, get me in on here. So they throw him in on the group chat and they win again. And so they win like 3.5. So now they're up almost $6,000. And then they threw in another parlay tonight and Des threw in. So they all have their one pick, which might be what we have to do. If we all just do one pick, I think we're more likely to win if each one of us just go with our game. And then we play at 5 based on what we all want as our major game. And if we coincide, then we just pick another one. But they went in for 3 almost. I think they might have 3 wins in a row. So these guys are going to be up $10,000 on like $100 freaking bucks.
Jesus.
And now they're all going to go to Vegas and Des Bryant's going to be there too. He's like, I'm going to party with you all in Vegas. I'll be there too. Because this is the big week to go to Vegas coming up during tournament time. People just sit down in the sports book and just, because there's 800 TVs and it's just like heaven.
No, that one spot where they got the pools and the wall of TVs. I want to be there.
They got a couple cool indoor spots too with a lot of.
I bet.
Anyways, shall we?
What's your parlay for the week?
Shall we, Mr. Pat?
Let's do it.
Reveal the secret sauce. Such a heartbreaker last week, but we're going to get it back this week.
I'm going 5-0 this week.
I'm going 5-0 too. And you know what? This week, gentlemen, is my Road Warrior parlay. So give him that Road Warrior shakedown, Mikey. Let me see it. All right,
Love it.
Technically, because Tennessee is
I don't think we need the 4 Locos.
Espresso.
Because Tennessee is the underdog, I kind of see them as the road team, even though it's on a neutral site. Tennessee will beat Missouri tomorrow in the quarterfinals of the SEC tournament.
Yeah.
I got Portland. They're giving Portland 8.5 in Philly. I'm taking that tomorrow. Dame loves to play in big cities.
I was looking at that too.
I'm taking the Raptors 1.5 in LA because I think they actually win that game. I'm taking Liverpool to beat Bournemouth on the road and give me Man City to beat Crystal Palace. Road Warrior parlay. Take it to the bank, baby.
Sort of Sockers.
All right, Pat.
I'm going all pro hardwood on this one and easy money too. Easy money.
Yeah, you are.
We're going Cavaliers versus Heat. Cavs over the Heat. I'm going Nuggets over Spurs. Easy pick right there. Spurs are trash. Then I'm going Pacers over Pistons. Pistons are basically the Spurs in the Eastern Conference. They are also trash. And then Bulls versus Rockets. Rockets are also trash in the West. And then we're going with these boys, the Celtics, against the Hawks. Hawks will be playing the Celtics at home, but it's on the back of a double or back-to-back. Not a double-double. Almost a double-double, but it's not a double-double. It's a
Someone will have a double-double.
They suck after double-doubles,
Yes. They're playing for a playoff spot, but a back-to-back, and you got to go against the Celtics. That's tough to win there.
They've been inconsistent. They did hire their coach of the future, though. Quinn Snyder's going to take them back to the promised land.
True. Very true. But it ain't this year. Sorry.
It ain't this year. Nope.
It ain't going to be Saturday.
All right. So, Jamie, you have Tennessee, Portland, Raptors, Liverpool, and Man City.
Yeah, but Portland and Raptors, I'm taking the points. So plus 8.5 on Portland and plus 1.5 for the Raptors.
Points.
Give me the points there.
I was looking at that Blazers-Sixers game, too. That was tempting.
Jamie, I'll go with yours.
Ooh la la. C'est magnifique. I think what we should do is just put all 10 in. So each one.
That's what I said. That's what I said in the beginning of this. Let's put all 10 in.
And why are you going with Jamie's? Go with mine also.
All right, Jamie and Pat.
Why you gotta go? Why you
It's
gotta
the
go
opening-
now? You're already putting mine
Here's what
down.
we should
You're
ask.
gonna
Is
go
there-
with mine.
It's the opening day. It's the opening day all over again.
Is there a
Oh
game
my
you or
God.
Mike? Is there a game you or Mike want included in here that you didn't hear? Is there another game out there where you thought maybe Pat and I dropped the ball and you're like, maybe we should throw that one in there?
No, I like those picks.
Okay,
Yeah, you do.
Mike, you
Yeah,
got something?
do.
It's close, but I'm gonna go. You know what? To be able to put both 10 in, I'll go with Pat's.
Okay.
We're going all 10.
I know.
Okay. Pat, you got to put all
You
10.
guys like our picks.
This didn't go as planned.
Because we want to be involved too.
So
It should have been
hey,
like a side thing, like,
should-
hey, go with one of ours, but we're secretly gonna put all 10 in.
So should we do something for the conference tournaments, the championship, like the championship, the champions, like put in like something for that when
Like,
we
you
find
know,
out.
A
When we find
futures-
out.
Well, you could put a futures in, which would pay out
Yeah.
ridiculously well.
Especially
Well,
if
I mean,
you put on Ohio State or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would put Ohio State put 5 out. They looked great today, especially being
Great.
13 and 19.
Don't need a
Great.
Tiger.
Who they play next, though?
Great.
Hey, do me
Someone
a
from the
favor
Big
real
Ten,
quick.
I think.
Yeah.
Do
What's
me
up?
a
All
favor
right.
real quick.
Yes.
Just read them off for me one more time, please.
Cavs over the Heat, Nuggets over the Spurs, Celtics over the Hawks, Pacers over the Pistons, Bulls over the Rockets. All money line, baby.
So we're going all 10, Mike. So
I know.
Here you go.
he already chose mine.
No
We got some comments. We got Anthony. Sorry, Anthony. I just saw all the comments. My bad. So he said, "What y'all sipping on?" We already got that. He goes, "He's sipping on Coca-Cola."
Cola.
Boy, a little rum.
The original one with the
The bottle.
Yeah, no.
The 1980s version.
the one that gets the
28
ghost out of your
cocaine in
bones.
They go with the cans. I can tell you for a fact.
He says Mikey's going to be up for days.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yes, I am. Yes,
He
I
also
am.
thinks we're going to get canceled.
Thanks, Pat.
And he says James Harden is like fire. And then our
James
boy
Harden
our
does
boy
not
Shane
touch
come in.
fire.
Sup, boys? Do you think we see Rodgers in a Jets uni this upcoming season?
Yeah.
Don't-
No doubt.
don't
And
care.
How ironic he's going to follow the path of Brett Favre.
Yes,
the
I was
man he
gonna
hated
say
the
that.
most when he came into the
Yeah,
league.
I will
So-
laugh my ass off if he follows Brett Favre after he hated following Brett Favre.
And
Honestly, I just hope he retires and moves on.
Throw that last comment up there. Let's just talk about that for a second. Pat,
We'll talk about it in a second. We'll talk
Yeah.
about it in a second.
Yeah.
But the Aaron Rodgers thing, I mean, it's been such an annoying process.
Yeah.
Now they got like photographers saying, "Oh, well, the coach is coming out of his house." Yeah, the Jets put on their Twitter they're going to see Aaron Rodgers. Not breaking news. Like,
Right.
stop. Like, I just want him to just sign already. I don't know what's worse, either him or the media. I think it's the media.
Sign it.
or
he has to be
Brady
traded,
retiring.
Traded. You're right.
Either way,
Yeah.
just be on the team that you're going to be on.
Go back in your hole.
Yeah.
Go back to the darkness.
Everyone was happier when that one little week,
I
4
was
days
born
total.
into the darkness.
Yeah, when he was pretending to be
Don't be
Bane and
impressed
doing
with
ayahuasca, everything was great.
Yeah. So and Jamie, just to bring that up, Pat Ewing is now out at Georgetown. Thanks, Shane, for that. After 6th season, he said never thought he was really going to be a good coach. 75 and 109 all-time record. Trash.
Yeah.
But here's the
Try
thing,
him
right,
out, though.
Shane? Pat was a very good assistant in Orlando, and he had his sweet spot in the league. He handled pros really well, and he did great as an assistant.
He should have been a pro coach.
He took the jump because he wasn't getting the opportunity in the NBA,
Correct.
and rightfully so. Maybe you want to help rebuild your alma mater. Who wouldn't want to do that after having such a successful career? But
I
his
always
place
thought-
is in the NBA. His
I
rightful
always
place.
thought
is in
Alonzo
the NBA.
Mourning should have went there.
Yeah, I agree. Alonzo sat behind Spoelstra when Spoelstra took over the Heat for a while, and I think
And he's an
Spoelstra.
alumni. And
Yeah.
I think he would have fit perfectly.
Realistically, I think Georgetown just needs someone else, someone that's not an alum. Georgetown is
they need another
Not-
John Thompson. Like
they
get him
need
out
some-
of like a cryogenic berry or whatever they're called.
yeah.
pull him out like a 2 baby.
I just don't understand the whole I don't understand how he kept his job so long, especially after going 0-19. So, sorry, Jay. We had some special guests pop in.
Nice.
But one of the things I just didn't understand about Pat Ewing is he always looks so freaking mean on the court. But I mean, that's just his demeanor. But apparently, a lot of the kids love playing for him. It's just I don't know if it wasn't motivating. Like, how are you at Georgetown? And Pat and I, know very well that Georgetown was always a bitch for Syracuse to play. They were just they were a tough team to play every single year.
You go to the original John Thompson, who turned that into a perennial powerhouse, and now they're just people sleeping on them, and rightfully so.
Yeah. I mean, Jay, to your point, I think he would have fit good in the NBA because he knows how to handle pros. He's got such a big presence too. Like he's a big guy. Like he's intimidating, So for an 18-year-old kid coming out like first time leaving home and everything, and you see like you got a 7'3" monster as a coach. Like I don't want to piss him off. I made a joke to Mr. Cinco earlier, and Mike. I was like, if they're firing him, it's like through text. Hey, it's not you, it's me.
And then they barricade the door.
But I think it's also look at the landscape of college basketball around that area, and a lot of the kids are now dispersing to Virginia, and Indiana's resurrected, and Tennessee, and kids from that area were home. They're like, I don't want to go anywhere. They were getting homegrown talent, and a lot of the East Coast talent was it's Georgetown or it's Seton Hall, it's St. John's, like it's Big East, and now it's just not that way anymore, and so they just don't have the same appeal. The only way to bring that program back, I think, is to get a veteran coach that knows how to work the whole transfer system right now in the portal. And if you can get some upperclassmen in the portal to then play with one or two talented freshmen, you got to work it that way. You're not going to recruit.
That's the game right now, is trying to work that transfer and NIL deals. And not a lot of guys can do that. A lot of the older guys can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why a lot of the older guys are leaving. Boeheim now, which we'll get to in a little bit. Roy Williams. Even Jay Wright. Jay Wright was the youngest of all of them, right?
Jay Wright was a winner.
A winner.
in
a consistent.
Era. Yes. In a big city too.
I thought of a name real quick after hearing that firing, and I said this would be a perfect opportunity for Rick Pitino to get another opportunity at a a big school, and it's not so big that he's going to be in the limelight a lot, but enough that if he gets Georgetown back, they'll not forget what he did at Louisville, but like he knows that school, he knows that like what kind of conference to play in. I just think that would be a good. But he's also, I think, in his late 70s, just like Boeheim. So, we'll see. We'll see who takes over at Georgetown. For me personally, as a basketball fan, I would like to see Georgetown be back at the top because Syracuse has matches with them over the next few years. And, even though I love blowing them out, but I would love to like have some basketball games, like some competition. You know what I mean? Those were the games that, we used to like.
Being Syracuse recently too. So.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. That's true. So.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good night. Thanks for joining us.
That was the fifth member, everybody.
I tell you guys I'd have a guest on today. You didn't believe me.
And one thing. Let's. We were supposed to have Idris on this week, but it's a good reason why he's not. His team made it to the NCAA tournament as a 5th seed.
What's his team?
The University of West Georgia.
There you go. For the new viewerships.
Yeah, new viewers. Sorry about that. He'll be on as soon as, hopefully, in a few weeks when they win the national championship. So, actually, he's playing. They're playing up in Fort Lauderdale, Jamie. So I might take a drive up there on Saturday night.
Get up there, man. That's a
and see how he's doing, and like maybe just go live from the game there, and
that'd be dope.
see how they're doing. But shout out to University of West Georgia. I hope they bring home the chip, and good luck to Idris. So, talking about coaches, Hall of Fame coaches. I know I'm going to throw it to Pat for a second because I had my rant yesterday, but Jim Boeheim, after 47 years, has decided to step down, as far as we know, coaching Syracuse, and associate head coach Adrian Autry will take over the reins. Rightfully so. That's how they typically do things. That's how Duke did it. North Carolina, Villanova was weird, but that's how those schools do it. They have it ready. But
bigger basketball programs will do it. They'll try to keep it in house, especially on the bench. They'll try to bring some up from the bench.
Yeah. So Pat, I'll give you the floor. What were your initial thoughts? I know your true feelings because of the last 3 years.
Yeah,
but
I mean, he really had moments where he could have done this. I think Syracuse and Jim Boeheim both fumbled how the retirement went. I kind of wish he did like Roy Williams did, kind of like, okay, tournament's done. Okay, I'm just going to retire. Jay Wright did the same thing. It's weird that he retired 3 hours after a loss, and I really, really, really wish they won so they could play against Miami and eventually lose to Miami. But at the same time, it's almost like he would have won against himself because Jim Larinaga just
looks exactly
identical to him.
Exactly the same. I get it all the time.
I wish that was like the optimal point if it was going to happen the way it did. But he had his boys play with him last few years. He had the 03 championship on the court last Saturday against Wake Forest, who we just lost to in the ACC tournament. Mm-hmm. So we've had these moments where he could have done it, and you kind of knew it was happening along the way.
Yeah.
But I thank Jim Boeheim for what he did. I mean, he literally gave me my childhood. I had so many Syracuse parties with my families. That was the family gatherings to watch Syracuse basketball. We all love Jim Boeheim. But then I just watched the game and the form of college basketball as an entity just changed around him, and the whole game just passed him by. Mm-hmm. I wish him the best in his big old house in Skinny Atlas right next to Weissman. But, man, I'm happy to see him actually step down and give Red Autry a chance head coach. And hopefully he coaches for another 47 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's been. I agree with you, Pat, 100%. That was something that you and I, you and I bonded over every single basketball season. We used to go to games like 4 to 5 times a year. I always say my grandmother, who I have tattooed on my arm, I used to always go over to her house every single home game, away game, watch the game with her. So you're right, it brought families together, but it was just something about Syracuse basketball. It felt like you had a professional team in Syracuse. Yep. That's what it felt like. And
I defended Jim Boeheim to my core. Every time someone slandered him, I got his back. And I just, for the last time I'm going to defend him, I hope he gets his wins back, man.
Agreed.
I hope he gets his wins back.
Get his wins back.
NCAA, do the right thing.
Do the right thing. Give him back. Stop taking wins away from coaches when it's not needed.
It makes no sense.
They won the games. Stop it.
Rick Pitino has a tattoo of his championship. There's a reason he got that tattoo. They won the championship.
Yeah.
Jamie, any thoughts on Boeheim, retiring? Because I know you've been around since he started coaching. And
yeah, I remember his first season. It was one of the most
you remember when he played,
right?
I'm fucking with you.
When an icon leaves the game, I think you always have to pay your respects. But more than that, I don't think we're ever going to see this sort of loyalty again in sports. Him and Coach K are the last of the Mohicans. I mean, you see it in other sports, like Purdue's swimming coach just retired, head coach. He was at the school for over, same thing. He was there for almost, I want to say, like 47 years or something. Just forever on the staff for over 50 years. You're not going to see that anymore. This is a much different generation. People will leave. People will jump to opportunities. So being that he's probably the last Mohican in college basketball, I think an era has come to an end, and it has been a very sweet ride for Syracuse fans and basketball fans for the product that they produced, and just for really giving us the gift of a high level of basketball. And let me tell you, some of my favorite moments was, I know not on your end, but when they had those tough matchups with UConn, and those were some of the most iconic conference and NCAA tournament games.
6 overtime.
Just unbelievable basketball.
Piggybacking off of that, when they won the national championship that year, they did not beat UConn out 3 times.
No, they didn't. They lost all 3, twice in regular and one in the Big East Conference. Yeah, I remember that when I was like, oh shit! And then they had to go play the whole entire Big 12 pretty much.
Yeah.
Manhattan, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, Texas, and then Kansas. It was like
through.
Yep. But yeah, definitely. It's tough when you lose an icon like him in the game. But it's nice to see the next level and see what they got. Right. We got some comments here. We got Uncle Mike. Hey, Uncle Mike and Garrick, how you guys doing?
What up, boys?
Hello.
Let's see. Shane says he is a good post player, big man coach, but what doesn't he know about guard play? Nothing. Talk about Ewing.
Yep.
Uncle
But
Mike
you know
says,
what they say about a good leader? A good leader knows how to fire himself first. So if he had got the right person in there and said, I have nothing to do with the guards, all I will do is be here for your backup if you're having problems leading this group of men. That's what a great leader knows how to do. So I think he still has a lot to learn about being the guy, but he will be a very great fit for the guy somewhere else.
Yeah, so we got Uncle Mike saying the aliens from Space Jam took Ewing's coaching skills and never gave him back. And appreciate that, Anthony. I love that. Let's go Orange. Let's go Syracuse.
You'll become a Tar Heel fan one way or another.
No, you won't. Larry Bird ain't walking through that door.
No.
I don't get that reference. Uncle Mike.
For Patrick Ewing. Like that star coach. Star coach.
Shane has keep an eye on Memphis. They played the Houston Tough the other day. They did. And got Penny Hardaway as a coach. I think Penny will become the NBA coach. So
yes, he will.
I think Penny could
coaching at Memphis.
I think Penny could have had an NBA coaching job before then.
Yeah,
I think he likes developing, young adults.
He also was a member at the time when it was called Memphis State. He was a bulldog there. So
little known fact.
Yep. So Penny's back at his alma mater too, trying to do great things. And I tell you what, his coaching style is intense. Penny Hardaway is one of my favorite players of all time. Intense. He is intense with those guys. He holds them accountable all the time. He pulls them over. He's always communicating. He's teaching them the game of basketball.
Right.
They're better off for it compared to my favorite coach now, who is there.
100%.
Crap. But
Shane says Duke John Shire first made history this year, becoming the first head coach in the ACC to go undefeated at home in his first season.
That's awesome.
Pretty good. And he shouts out Boeheim as well.
100%.
He has done a lot for kids. If everyone doesn't know, Jim Boeheim did have cancer and has the Julie and Jim Boeheim Foundation. Uncle Mike says his father played against him once in a pickup game. So, yes, Mike's grandfather, he said. I'm assuming that's Boeheim.
No. Bird.
Larry Bird?
Maybe Boeheim. No,
that's amazing.
No, you know what? Let's start that rumor.
Let's start that rumor.
Mike's grandfather beat Larry Bird one-on-one.
Mike's grandfather beat Larry Bird.
One-on-one.
So, thanks, guys, for the comments. Keep them rolling through the show. Going on to keeping college basketball talk, talking about the NCAA tournament. This was inspired by Mr. Cinco talking about, the Cinderella story and everything like that. I think we all have kind of an agreement on this, but do people really want to see Cinderellas in the NCAA tournament? Do they love that story? Not actual princesses. Sorry, we'll fix that graphic.
People really want to see Cinderella.
Not actual princesses.
Show me Cinderella.
Cinderella.
You need context to that.
Do people really want to see a Cinderella story? Sorry, I'm not the one that did that. Do people really want to see a Cinderella story?
Cinderella team. Say Cinderella team.
Story. Oh, that makes it even worse.
It makes it worse.
Team.
Anyway, everybody knows what we mean.
No. So answer the question, Pat. God damn it.
Yeah.
Do you like like when Syracuse is in there? Do you like seeing the Cinderellas?
All right, if Syracuse is out like they are this year, yeah, I root for the underdog, man. I want the 16 to beat the 1 every time and make it to the Final Four. That's what I'm rooting for. I want chaos. I want upsets. It's March Madness, baby. Get excited. All right, match that energy, Mike. Go.
Yeah, no.
No, I mean it's. I agree with you.
I said Michael.
Like, God damn it, I'm Mike.
Mike.
Hi. No, I definitely agree that while I always will root for North Carolina whenever they're in the tournament, I think it's really awesome to see like your Loyola Chicago's, your Florida Gulf Coast, your George Masons, like these programs that are very good basketball programs, but aren't as highly regarded as like your Blue Bloods and your traditional contenders.
Mm-hmm.
And I always think it's really exciting to be able to see those types of teams, because those types of teams, they don't really ever have a guy that you hear about like, oh, he's getting drafted in the lottery this year.
Ooh,
You know, he's going to be a first
McCollum,
pick.
though.
Well, CJ McCollum, that's true. But I mean, traditionally, like
Gala.
when you think about like I guess Loyola Chicago and like George Mason, those two runs to the Elite Eight, Final Four.
Yeah.
He's talking about Sister Jean, Jamie.
Yeah.
My girl. My girl. We went to the prom together.
Yeah, they don't really have like
nice
guys that are being considered first round talents. So you really get to see the type of team Listen, I'm trying to fight through all this.
I'm watching Pat dance with a freaking.
Come on, Mikey.
Spit it out.
I'm trying. You really get to see, like, with those types of teams, that complete team game that we always say we like to see in college basketball, where, you can get 1 through 13, just a constant rotation of guys that are just playing a team game. I mean, in a lot of those runs, you see like maybe one guy has over 20, but then like 2 or 3 of them have 12, and you get like 4 more guys that all have 8. Everybody's grabbing rebounds, getting assists and stuff like that. So from my end, I love seeing those Cinderella teams make runs in the tournament. Jamie, you got to go because they're not going to stop laughing
right now. So yeah, look, the most exciting thing at tournament time is when Sister Jean pulls up on the court and talks about our prom date. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so the best thing about
dance with Jesus.
I blessed him with the look, and he still looks like
Caribbean Jesus.
6 years later. That's for sure. So the best thing about the tournament, even though it was my worst nightmare last year, is watching somebody treat a blue blood like just another regular cat. And when those coaches have that chip on their shoulder and their players play with that chip on their shoulder, it's exciting for the average fan who's definitely not the said fan of that team, right? And in my case, it was my worst nightmare. Everybody else who hates Kentucky, which is everybody outside of being a Kentucky fan, it was the best thing for them in the entire tournament. Not only did the team with the player of the year go down, but you have a coach that obviously may have overlooked a number 15 seed because in his right mind, he's always wanted to preach, hey, let's respect these guys. But he overlooked them. They played a pretty poor game. And they proved that it wasn't Kentucky that played a poor game. They made a deep run. George Mason made a deep run that year. This started off with Jimmy V, right? And everybody's yearning for that seed that shouldn't get into the championship game. We almost had it with Butler. Butler was a half-court shot away that rim, like literally rolled around the rim that could have beaten Duke. One of the most amazing games in the finals.
I thought that was in. That was by whatchamacallit?
You said that.
Brent Hayward.
Who was it by?
Yeah.
Hayward, Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God.
It looked like it was good. And you have to ask yourself, right? If you're a non-fan of both teams, but it's Duke.
It was a good game. It was a great game.
That's the thing, right? And most people are like, I don't want to watch this game, but as a college basketball fan, you will. And if you're not attached to the blue blood, you're cheering for the Cinderella like it's your team a lot more than you would cheer for another known team. So it does add this element of attachment where when your team gets knocked out and you don't have a horse or a dog in the fight anymore, people are like, who's my Cinderella? I want to latch onto them.
You know what though? Like these teams could also build programs off of that, just like Gonzaga. Like my parents, I remember my mom filling out a bracket, taking Gonzaga all the way back when there were nobodies. But Dad's like, I don't even know where Gonzaga is. Now everyone knows who Gonzaga is, who their coach is, what their nickname is.
Yeah,
It can build programs too.
You're right, and like these programs get shot at going to different conferences, right? If they're there enough, right? So when I see these Cinderellas, I mean, Mike and I went to a small school in St. Bonaventure, and they're considered, if they made a run in the NCAA tournament, they'd be considered a Cinderella story, no matter what. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. What?
Despite them being a top 25 team pretty much for the whole year, like it still don't get.
And that's what I'm saying. Is like a lot of these teams, like you see these teams, like I think Colgate's 32-3 or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Like, and people are like, oh well, they're not playing in a good conference. They still won 32 freaking games. Like, come on, like you got to give them some sort of
but
credit.
They don't play in a good conference,
right? And people say it all the time, and I understand that they're not playing like the likes of North Carolina, Duke, NC State every night, but I mean it's still winning a lot of games.
But these are teams playing out of conference schedules that are above their belt too.
Correct. Like
So
they beat Syracuse twice, 2 years in a row.
No one even. You did not have to talk about that.
I
but you
did
anyway.
I did.
Well,
don't judge me.
I'm judging hard.
Even to speak on the A10, even the year that Dayton was number 4 in the country going into the tournament, there were still a good amount of people going, at some point, one of these power conference teams are going to beat them.
That was the Obi Toppin year, right?
Yeah, that was the Obi Toppin year.
They were pretty favored. They were pretty highly favored as a number 1 seed, though.
Mm-hmm.
They were, but they were the least favored of the 1 seeds, and they were by far the most expected to be potentially knocked out by a lower seed.
Yeah, but I'm saying like they were still like I would like Dayton has always been like I don't know. There's just always been like there's A10 and then there's everyone else.
Dayton, yeah.
So I mean, that's a tough one, right? Because like that team was good. They only had 1 loss.
Oh, they were a very good team.
So they beat some good teams that year. So I mean, I think it's a good thing for college basketball. I think that's why everyone tunes in all the time. That's why people have multiple screens going. Like you said, Jamie, they go out to Vegas. If their team's not in it, they're sitting there watching all these like upsets, and they're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe that St. Peter's beat Kentucky." Or
what makes it so good is that it's a single game elimination bracket.
Correct. If it was a series,
there's always going to be chaos. There's always going to be chaos. Like
they call it March Madness.
If it was a series, there would be no. I think it would still be a big deal, but not as much, right?
No. This is why it's the most perfect tournament in all sports.
Yeah.
You got 6. I don't even know what
68.
68 now. Okay, thank you. The 4 and Dayton don't really count. But anyway, you got these teams. You got to play one perfect game and you advance. That's all you got to do against these top teams. And there's upsets every year. That's why it makes it amazing. Yeah.
But a lot of these teams, to your point, Pat, I mean, they're there like 4 years in a row. Like, so it's not really surprising when you see a team go out there and play and have a good chemistry.
Well, you see those teams because they got seniority too. You got teams that are building chemistry because they're not moving on; they're playing together.
Exactly.
And playing for Sister Jean. Even though Loyola Chicago's not even in it, but
yeah, they moved to the A10 actually, and they did not do good this year.
No, they did not.
But their coach left to go coach at Oklahoma too. So I mean, he left a few years ago after their run. So I mean, I think they're going to have some growing pains in the new conference. But here's something like to kind of go back to the championship week. I want to know your guys' favorite memory. Going back,
the wee lad. It was 1993. It was a cold winter.
You were one.
Yeah, I remember.
You guys came on like that was fun.
He said it was my favorite memory.
Jamie, there's only so often that, at least for myself, I get the math right. So I knew when I had the math right in my head, I was like, I gotta say it. All
right, who wants to go first? Jamie?
Who wants to go
first? Sure. I mean, there's too many good Kentucky memories. But the most recent one being the dominance of Anthony Davis and that team hoisting the championship back in 2012. It's almost like after being teased for so many years in the 2000s with number 1 teams and number 2 teams that looked like they were destined to make a run, bad free throw shooting, crash out in the Elite 8, bad free throw shooting, crash out in the Final 4. Dwayne Wade, we don't have to go any further. Dwayne Wade crashed out in the Elite 8. it was great to finally see after literally 12 years of this team should be in the Final Four 10 of the 12 times, get to the championship game and wrap it up. It wasn't a very entertaining game, which sometimes is good as a fan, but it was great to see them make that run because I do remember the mid-90s teams. The mid-90s teams were illa Skrilla. I mean, the Cardiac Cats were an incredible team, untouchable in 96. They were winning games they shouldn't have won. They should have three-peat. Arizona beats them in overtime, and then Tubby takes Patino's team and wins in 98. But there was something special about that Anthony Davis team that kept the belief going because we got back to the finals against UConn as a 7th or as an 8 seed. UConn won it as a 7 seed. That was a great game. But watching my boys hoist the national championship, you know, in more recent time for me than in the mid-90s, that was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you know, Kentucky's had a lot of memories. So, Mikey Mike, over your time watching college basketball, what did you think?
So there were two that and I had to remind myself of some memories. I went back and kind of looked through the archive of games I remembered and the moments from them. There were two that stood out. One is a personal one for North Carolina, and one is like kind of outside North Carolina. The North Carolina one for me is probably it's for the tournament for championship week is the final against Virginia in 2016. Mm-hmm. Just how much of like a juggernaut battle it was that you could tell both of those teams were going to be major players in the NCAA tournament. And I mean, obviously both of them were already well into the tournament. One was getting the, you know, automatic bid and one was going to get a large bid, but just the back and forth of that game and how it was a North Carolina team that definitely didn't give up. And I loved at that time, just the way they had a constant rotation of bigs to work with Marcus Page and Joel Berry. And a very underrated member of that team is Theo Pinson. I just point that out. Theo Pinson was a very much the
random
engine.
Carolina players.
Yeah, really. Yeah, random that gets drafted too.
Yeah, and he's had a decent NBA career. He's stuck around on some teams, but yeah, he was just the engine that year. So that was just, I remember it was the most nerve-wracking up for the ACC tournament. It was the most, as a fan, nerve-wracking but exciting game I had watched up to that point, because it was just so electric in the arena that night between those two teams with those two fan bases. The one that stood out to me outside of North Carolina was, I mean, it had to be the buzzer beater for Kemba against Pitt.
Oh, hell yeah.
The cardiac Kemba moment. Like that's, I mean, just, I watched that back a few times before the show and I was like, oh my God, that dude was just like,
dude, it was incredible. He took over that tournament. And like I was telling you last night, it was just incredible because, they were a pretty decent team throughout the year, but no one counted UConn as like a favorite.
They had to play in.
Yeah. They won 5 straight games to get in and won 6 straight to win the title. So it was incredible. But that's a good one, Mike.
Thank you.
Pat?
I got to go next because I feel like I'm going to steal yours.
What is it?
6 overtimes.
No, that's not mine.
Wow, I'm shocked by that.
So
6 overtimes.
It was up there, but that was a stressful night.
It's stressful, but the fact that Syracuse, UConn, 6 overtime in the Mecca, the Mecca of basketball, 6 overtimes. It went well into the next day. I think 2 a.m. the game ended. Yeah, it was brutal, and it all could have been avoided if that Devendorf 3 counted.
Oh my God!
On the table. It
right
was
on the
beautiful.
fingertips.
It was beautiful.
Oh. That's why it's not my favorite. I'm kidding.
But they won the game. And
I know they did.
People forget too. They played West Virginia next day. Overtime also.
Yes.
But it was just fun to watch that game. It was 9 rounds, just back and forth. And
we were playing our bench guys. We were playing like walk-ons.
Oh yeah, so many guys fouled out. So many guys exhausted. Johnny Flynn, I think, played the entire game.
The entire 6 overtimes. It was incredible.
But you could tell. I mean, we were in high school at the time, but you could tell who watched the game and who didn't. Yeah. Just based on how exhausted some people were compared to others. You know? It's my favorite thing right there.
Bro,
you watched it. You watched it. You didn't.
Well, it was crazy too because
my technology teacher a loser because he had no idea that basketball was even being played.
Well, it was crazy too about that Devendorf shot. Is like I'm sitting there like literally face to the TV looking to see because it was literally 0.0 and it was literally just coming off his fingertips. And I'm like, oh my God, how did that not go in? It was an incredible shot.
It was fuzzy though. Like the shot.
I know. That's what I said. I can't tell. It's indisputable. It's a good.
Without if that shot counted, take away the 6 overtimes. That's still one of the most memorable.
Oh yeah.
Because they didn't lead the entire game.
No,
that would have been the first lead for the win.
Mm-hmm. So that was up there, of course. 6 overtime is always going to be up there. The 03 national championship, the Hakeem Warwick block, where I jumped 30 feet off the couch when he blocked it.
Syracuse, yeah, of course. Championship week memories, though.
Of course. But championship week memories, and you will agree, this was the week I went home early for school. And this is the game that I remember, was in 2006. Syracuse was the number 9 seed in the Big East tournament. And I remember we were playing Cincinnati, and Jerry hit a one-handed three-point shot to win us the game. And I leaped off the couch, and that's when my mom was like, I thought you were sick, huh? I was like, oh, no, yeah.
How did you get – I got to play sick.
We'll go back to school and do it over again.
Yeah. No, I'm just going to play sick at work now.
This was the start of a rolling Big East tournament for Syracuse, where they went on to win. The Devendorf ended up hitting the game-winning shot against – I think UConn, if I'm not mistaken, and then we ended up beating Pittsburgh by 4 in the final. It was a short-lived NCAA tournament, but going back to my point in the beginning, it's like the NCAA tournament was second, and like the Big East tournament was like first for us. It was just like the amount of like you were into every single game. The NCAA tournament felt like it was just like, okay,
that was the overrated year when someone wrote that Jerry McNamara was overrated.
A school newspaper wrote that Jerry McNamara was overrated.
And this is 2006. He already won the national championship as a freshman.
6 threes in the final game.
Yeah. He almost broke the record for many threes.
Mediocre.
Yeah, mediocre my ass.
Yeah,
one of the greatest, if not the greatest, players in Syracuse history.
Yeah,
easily.
His numbers retired. He's up there.
Yeah. So I mean, that I remember that clear as day. That was just like, God damn it. And then
I ran home from school because it was the last period. I ran home from school to watch that shot.
Yeah, it was incredible. And
I couldn't go home and watch it.
Well, my parents
didn't love me.
I just fake sick, bro. Like, come on now. Like, cough. I sick, and then okay, mom, come pick me up. And you got to time it perfectly every single time. 11:15, because you got to give your mom that 30-minute buffer for her to get down to the school, sign you out.
You live right next to the school. Walk.
I know, but they made you go.
No, I never called out sick from school.
Well, you know what? You got to learn from me.
Don't make that mistake.
So Jamie, my Uncle Mike says,
yeah, Luke
May's shot against Kentucky set the theme of the Titanic.
Set to the theme of the Titanic.
Oh, set to the theme of the Titanic. I can't read. He can't even read.
Dyslexic.
By the way,
Mario Charman's game-tying shot was a good one. I can't talk today. I can't talk at all. I can't talk at all. I'm gonna watch the game.
By the way, speaking of Uncle Mike, I do have clarification on those two comments earlier. The Larry Bird one, the Larry Bird one, the Larry Bird comment. Larry Bird's not walking through that door. That's what Rick Pitino said when he was the Celtics coach, and that he was complaining about them being bad. Well, Larry Bird isn't walking through that door.
So your grandfather did not beat Larry Bird one-on-one.
No, and that's the other one. My grandfather played Boeheim and said he could shoot the lights out.
I like what I said earlier in the show. If you're just tuning in, Mike's grandfather beat Larry Bird one-on-one. Insane.
Yeah.
Hey, we don't know.
Go back and watch the show.
Hold on.
Like
Shane has one that's really good. Most memorable for him also is Curry going off for Davidson in 08. That was incredible.
That's so
that was a major run. I mean,
That was really-
I go back further where Allen Iverson at Georgetown went on a tear and took.
That was great. That was not great, but great. That was a great run, but it was not a great.
Well, I'll go back even further. Kareem at
taking
UCLA.
You didn't watch that game, Mike.
No, but Jamie did. Jamie did.
His name was Lou. Get the name
Alcindor.
right. His
Lou
name was
Alcindor,
Lou. Okay.
Jamie will go back further. When James Naismith made basketball.
When he coached at Kansas.
Well, fun fact, James Naismith is the only coach for Kansas with a losing career record.
I remember that. I remember seeing that, yeah.
Well,
You know what's crazy though? Like even if you just think of certain rivalries, like I remember more Duke UNC like regular season games in the late '90s with Elton Brand and Avery and Jameson and Vince Carter and just goon squad games that were even more memorable than championship games because they played each other like it was for the ACC. Like those games mattered that much, the pride of the games. So it's weird how you remember certain games based on the level of play and the amount of NBA talent that was on rosters at given times. Those games between like 97 to 2000 were probably better than so many tournament games. Yeah. But for sure, championship games, we had a pretty good one against LSU. And I said the Cardiac Cats. I misunderstood you guys. It was championship week where I think we came back down like 30 plus points or something ridiculous to come back and win the game. That's always fun when you think your team's out of it. But
is that Big Baby?
That was 96 and like Ron Mercer's time.
Oh, in the 90, okay.
But yeah.
He was a baby.
I was a
big baby.
But I think we're in for a real treat in this tournament where we've seen so many games in overtime, buzzer beaters, etc. There is going to be a game unexpected that we will see a team win in overtime again this year. I'm not calling a 1. I'm not calling a 2. I'm calling a couple of 3 seeds to go down.
Okay.
In the NCAA tournament? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too. I think there's going to be a lot of upsets this year, more than usual.
UNC Asheville.
Preach Cinco Jesus. There's his new name.
Cinco Jesus.
Well, switching to baseball, the World Baseball Classic kicked off this week, where Team USA lost to the Giants. That's
Woo!
just 5-1. I don't know how that works. As a player, would it be more important winning a World Baseball Classic title for your country or winning the World Series? And Jamie, I think I'm going to throw it to you because, I mean, you represented your country at the highest stage of them all. So I'll throw it to you first.
So for this instance, if it's not a sport where there's a world championship, then no. Like the World Series is the pinnacle for any baseball player. Even though they'll take an immense amount of pride in winning the WBC title, I think as a player in baseball, you want to reach that pinnacle moment and say, hey, this is what I want. It's like saying a golfer would rather win an Olympic gold medal than win the Masters. Never. Like you have certain things that are at the pinnacle of your sport, and that is what you want to win the most. So I don't think it's more important. I think they probably would take more pride that they can say, I did this for my country. I don't think it's a more important goal for them as a pro.
I meant for like, if you were a player, would it be more important for you to win a World Baseball Classic?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's important.
Yeah,
I think the goal of the World Series is the most important. I think some of them might have more pride in the WBC title. I think the most important goal is at some point to say, I won a World Series as a baseball player.
Gotcha.
I would look at it as a different way. Not so much winning a World Baseball Classic for your country. That's cool. Little countrymanship. Winning a World Series, whatever. Taking the time to play in games that actually matter in a time that is spring training, that matters going to play for a World Series. I think a lot of guys are going to look at it that way.
Yeah.
That's how I would look at it as a player.
Like going to play for a World Series versus playing
it's spring training going on right now.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I would rather go play in the World Baseball Classic
to
gear up to play for the World Series for my team.
Yeah.
Because like Jamie said, it is the pinnacle of the sport. Guys in Japan want to play for teams in America to win a World Series.
Yeah.
Which would you rather win if you could only win one?
Yeah, I mean that's a
World Series.
I think you got a good point there, Pat. Like a lot of these guys come from especially the Hispanic countries, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. They like really like play for their. They love playing for their country. They want to represent their country. They represent it all year long, and I think this means a lot. I think it depends on country to country. Shohei Ohtani's playing for Japan right now. That could mean a lot to him. That could have been his mindset going into playing baseball. Is I always wanted to win a World Baseball Classic. I don't think we have that.
I don't know about that.
I mean, you never know. I mean, he could want to play in the majors.
For the Angels, like.
I get that, but he also played like 10 years in Major League Baseball over in Japan too. So like he
might have grown up thinking I'm going to win a championship in Japan. I don't even think about the World Baseball Classic.
Right. That was my point though. As us in USA, we just think about like the World Series. Like that's what I'm saying. For these countries, these kids that grow up in here, they want to represent their country. That's what I'm saying. Versus it's a little different from us representing just USA. We have American baseball. Like we have it here. It is the pinnacle. I get what you're saying.
Created it. We're baseball. We created.
But you know what? But actually, baseball is actually cricket was made in Canada and America, which is weird. You know what? The strangest thing is with this tournament is that Goliath is not Goliath. Like the Dominican Republic is the favorite as one of the smallest countries in the tournament.
Correct.
That's what makes it such a crazy tournament. It's the one tournament where Goliath is not Goliath. In any other format, it's like, all right, these small little islands or this little country over here they're the Cinderella. And it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Right.
And USA is supposed to be ranked second. They can't even beat the Giants. So that should be fun. But it has started.
Five people from Dominican Republic play for the Giants.
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't kept track of like who, because they started today. I think yesterday. Okay.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
But there was only like 2 games.
Yeah. I think Japan played, and
Japan
I think they
crushed China. Shohei Ohtani showed out.
And Italy upset the DR, right, Mike? Or was it Cuba?
I believe Cuba.
Cuba. They upset.
Still, though, that's a big win.
That's a huge one.
That's a huge
my favorite thing that I've seen so far is
you have Nunzio hitting a home run,
Take the shot, Nunzio.
My favorite thing that I've seen in this is Shohei pitching for Japan, and he went right to the umpire to show that he has no sticky stuff. They don't got to do that there.
No, they don't.
The umpire wanted to give him a high five. Like,
nice. It was such an awkward exchange.
It's like, oh my bad, I don't have to do this here. Sweet.
Yeah.
I don't got to take my pants off to show you.
Nice,
yeah, I would have to agree with you guys that I think there would be a lot of, if I was a player, I wish. I would have a lot of pride for playing for my country and being able to represent, the USA at the World Baseball Classic. But my ultimate goal would always be to win a World Series. And I think it also has a lot to do with the length the time you have to spend to win these, where it's about 7 games, give or take, for the WBC to win the WBC. It's a 162 game regular season, and then,
up to 16, maybe.
Up to 16 or so games in the playoffs. Right. It's such a grind, and they always talk about it in the MLB. It's such a grind to be able to even make it to the playoffs, let alone win a championship. And unfortunately for the WBC, because it falls, and I don't like that it falls in spring training, simply because there's a lot of these national teams that don't have the best players, including the USA. The USA's pitching staff is not the 12 to 13 best American pitchers in the world.
Right.
There's a lot that are saying that.
I disagree with that.
Pretty fucking good.
Adam,
I disagree with that point about the spring training, but finish what you're saying.
Okay. So I think it's the fact that while it would be awesome to win a WBC, to win a World Series would require me to be a part of a team that beats the best players in the world.
Yeah.
Barring some guys in like Korea and Japan that haven't, aren't going to leave, don't want to leave, or haven't gotten posted to come to the majors yet.
Or can't leave.
Yeah. Yeah. Although Cuba's a little more open now.
Cuba's the one.
Yeah, Cuba's the one.
Global economics
But,
talking
you know,
on Cinco Squad tonight.
It's the World Series, the MLB, winning a championship in the MLB, because baseball is not a global sport to the comparison of a lot of Olympic sports. Winning a title in the MLB is the pinnacle achievement in baseball.
Yeah, the one point I disagree with is the fact that playing during. I actually don't mind it because it gets them a month ahead in competitive baseball.
That's
Competitive pitching they're seeing. They may not be seeing the best pitchers, but they're at least seeing pitchers that are playing for a national team. So
they're seeing real game situations.
Game situations where they have to bunt the guy over to third, or wait, they don't do that anymore. So,
But
that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that they're ultimately getting a lot. I think they're better in this than they are in spring training than barely seeing a guy that pitches in Double-A. I think that it's better for them, honestly.
Well, that's not my concern. My concern is that you are putting a potential injury a week out from opening day.
Yeah.
They're getting injuries in spring training.
Yeah, they're getting injuries in spring training.
Well, I understand
like
that.
Carlos Rodon.
What I'm saying is, even that. So if you get hurt in the WBC and it's played in like December, you've got a few months to be able to heal. In baseball, you got a few months. That's and back to your point. It's a 162 game season, so you have those months. Look at Rodon went and hasn't pitched all spring training. First time out, gets absolutely smacked, and then now he's out for a month.
No, listen, we can talk about this all day. They should not even be starting baseball in the end of March, early April, anyhow.
Correct.
Not with how cold cities are.
Yeah, really. I agree with you.
Wow.
There you go.
Good for the Dutch.
Netherlands. So you have a lot of Curacao people.
I was going to say, about half of their roster at least is from Curacao. But
here's the deal too, right? That you want to have tournaments with the best players representing in those tournaments. And so the timing of it, I see, is poor for that because you're going to get a lot of players who the GMs of their teams are like, hell no, buddy. You're not playing for it.
Yeah, but the Major League Baseball season is so long. When are you going to have it?
December.
Yeah, have it in November or December.
Yeah, but that's the time when guys are going. They're playing 7 months. 7 months.
It does. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But they're gearing up. They're starting to gear up.
I disagree with that
point anyway.
I like the whole spring training because then you're getting them all playing competitive baseball again, and then they got to slow down. It's like that's
you also got to think
the most competitive lineups. So you'll go out there and say, hey, I have 4 months to recover if something happens.
We're looking at it as the spring training for MLB. What about these other countries that have their baseball
in the middle of their leagues?
Yeah. In the middle of their leagues, maybe December is where their playoffs are happening.
Correct.
It just have to happen in February. It's just once every 4 years too.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
Play it on a little league field, make it more entertaining.
Oh my God, I'd watch the shit out of that. I'd watch the shit out of that.
And they have to bat the opposite way if they're
you got to bat
switch hitter.
You got to throw with the opposite hand.
Dude, chicks love the dingers, man.
Yeah, you play that in Williamsport. We're gonna get cars getting hit in the parking lot up on the hill.
Oh my God. Yeah, you hit a car, it's 10 runs. Just make it wild, man.
Have a Chick-fil-A chicken in costume out there. Hit me. Everybody gets free Chick-fil-A. The whole class like, hit the chick.
Oh my God. It should be those balloons that U.S. has been shooting down. You just got to hit a home run.
Oh, God.
If you're trying to make the game more entertaining, just go all out.
Yeah, man. It's not World Baseball Classic WBC. It's the Wild Baseball Classic.
The way they make baseball more entertaining is they lower the amount of games and make it.
No, John.
Make it do 100 games.
We just fixed it.
No,
Ponds in the outfield, trampoline warning tracks.
No.
I want little league fields, and I want them all set up where the outfields are facing each other, so you're just hitting home runs.
Guys robbing home.
Guys have super soakers that can alter the ball's trajectory and outfield as it's coming towards the player.
Yeah, like Ultimate Warrior or something.
Got those air cannons.
What do you guys think? Uncle Mike, whoever Shay, what do you guys think? How can we make
I've been saying get a dog out there too. Oh my God, what was that earlier episode?
Bat dogs?
Not the bat dogs, but like you get at it. Check back early episodes. Holy shit.
Yeah, go back. It's not.
I fixed baseball in an early episode.
All right. Well, I mean, ultimately, he said after the World Series. I disagree with that because then you're not going to have your best players there. Because if the best players and then the best players are not that just played a World Series, a tough Game 7, are not going to go play in a World Baseball Classic. So
that's why I'm saying December.
I mean, even then,
time to rest. But they're not.
That's what I'm saying, though. I think we are just thinking as MLB.
I'll watch baseball during the holidays.
Viewers, Japan might be having their playoffs in December.
Okay, well, Japan can sacrifice some players. It's the WBC. You've got pride in your country, send players.
But you don't want to sacrifice players.
You're saying the same thing. You're saying the same thing for a 162-game season.
No, because see, December lets USA have all their good players.
Mike, I just feel like you don't like Japanese people.
Right, don't put that narrative out there.
Breaking news.
We'll clip it.
Mike,
we'll clip it in there.
No, I'm excited.
His baseball team isn't.
Well, they'll get Ohtani, so they already got a leg up on some other countries.
Well, boys.
Ohtani is a baseball team.
You know, it's a baseball team. It is time for our baseball team to go to Stump the Squad.
You tried to do it, but I don't think it worked.
I think it worked. I mean, it's our team right here. We're a team of 5.
We would be a good baseball team, I think.
Hang on, guys. I got to go to a World Baseball Classic.
See, if it was in December,
that one has got to go.
Really far.
All right, Jamie, take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, ghouls and goblins, thank you for making it this far. Once again, we've reached our favorite point in the show. It is Stump the Squad, where we ask you questions, pretend that we don't know all the answers, check the answers, get it wrong on purpose just to make you feel good about yourself. 2 points each for every question. Person with the most points at the end gets the rant of the week. I'm going to have Mikey start us off this week. Take us back to 1932, brother.
It's not 1932. Or is it? It might be. All right. My question this week has to do with our being in championship week and the excitement that it holds.
Okay.
How many different teams, since we have, 3 of the 4 of us here have teams within this conference, how many different teams have won the ACC men's basketball tournament?
How many?
In the history of the ACC men's basketball tournament, how many different programs have won?
Okay.
7, 9, 12, or 15?
I want to say 12.
9.
We have a 9 and a 12.
9.
7 doesn't seem like enough.
Yeah.
I don't know. Duke's got a lot.
16 teams in there, but it hasn't always been 16.
You know what? I'll go with 9.
Okay. Final answers?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wait. Yes.
Okay. So we got Jamie and Pat saying 9, John saying 12.
They're right. I
have successfully stumped
everyone.
Unfortunately, no. Jamie and Pat, it is 12.
Oh, let's go!
And the thing is, there's 2 teams in there that you wouldn't really think of.
Wake Forest.
Sir.
No. So Duke leads with 21 total titles. UNC is second with 18. Then we have NC State with 10. Georgia Tech with 4. Wake Forest with 4.
Virginia
with 3. Maryland with 3.
Maryland, I knew back in the day.
And then all with 1, Virginia Tech, Notre Dame.
I know, but yeah, Tech won. That was recent.
Miami.
It was last year.
Yeah, Virginia Tech's only one was last year. And Notre Dame's was in 2015. So all with 1, Virginia Tech, Notre Dame, Miami, Florida State, and South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Way back when.
In 1971, they were one of the founding members of the ACC and finally won in 1971.
And then they succeeded from the
Congratulations on your only points for the week, John. I hope you enjoy
it. Look I got one right last week.
And in honor of those points, John goes next.
Whee! All right, Mike's got to switcheroo on me. All right, so you cool cats and dogs.
Cool cats and kittens. We're in a jazz club. We are going back to the 20s.
So 2 number 1 seeds have met this many times in the championship game.
How many?
How many times have two number one seeds met in the championship game.
Which championship game?
National championship game. Sorry.
Oh, the
national championship game.
we got 90 tournaments going on right now. Which championship?
Okay. Smart ass.
I am smart. Thank you. And I'm an ass.
So I'll repeat the question.
Okay.
How many times has a number one seed in the national championship game met?
Okay.
10 times, 4 times, 7 times, 15 times.
4.
7. You know why?
That's your favorite number.
Yeah.
4, and I'm right.
Which means I'm probably wrong.
Yeah,
but I'm going to go with
it's
7.
happened 4 times in the last 10 years, so I'll go with 10.
Jamie. You guys good? All right. So I've successfully stumped, again, Pat and Jamie. It is 7 times.
Favorite number.
Dude, we suck.
last year was 2 number ones. So no, the year before was 2 number ones, not last year.
Yeah, I think North Carolina was a 9 seed last year, right?
Yeah, the Baylor teams were, I think whoever Baylor played was a 1-1.
Oh,
okay.
Gonzaga?
Yep.
Yeah, that was a 1-1.
All right, Pat. Pat
Hello.
in the hat. Pat in the hat.
I really don't like my question, but here it goes. LeBron James has more 50-point games than single-digit games. How many single-digit games does LeBron James have in his
LeBron
career?
Johns.
LeBron Jazz.
That's a clue. One of them came against the Jazz. Welcome to the Jazz episode of Cinco Squad.
I hate myself.
All you cool cats and kittens.
What are our choices?
Yeah, what are our?
Oh, right.
We need the answers.
6, 7, 8, or 9.
How many single-digit games he's had?
In his career, yes, sir.
I'm going to go with 7 again.
It's been the bee's knees.
I'm going to 7 too.
Give me 8.
Locked,
Yep.
cocked,
And ready to go.
and
You
loaded.
stumped us all. It's
It
gonna
can't
be
be
9.
7 twice, but
I have successfully stumped everyone who didn't say 8.
Oh.
I forgot what everyone said.
Jamie.
Jamie.
I got 1.
All right. Me and Mike at 0.
And I got a tiebreaker within that question. So
All right.
I also have a tiebreaker set.
Well, if you're in the
I'll
championship,
tiebreaker, you're a tiebreaker.
Jamie, your turn.
In the spirit of college basketball week, we call it championship week, but it is college basketball week. The Lady Huskies once again dominate the Big East. Probably the most continuously written story that's in print every year.
Yeah, seriously.
How many consecutive Big East titles do the Lady Huskies have after winning again this year?
Too many.
Is it 25, 28, 29, or 31?
Well, Pat's
28.
answer's right, too many, but
25, 28, 29, or 31?
I'm pretty
29.
sure it's 31.
25. What was it again?
25, 28, 29, 31.
no, none of the answers are 7, so I'm lost.
It's a trick question. It's 30. He doesn't want you to know it.
He doesn't want you to know.
25, 28,
No one
29,
can.
31.
BuzzFeed
25.
click.
Oh,
All right. Pick your answer.
Yeah, no, I picked 29.
31.
25, 28, 29, 31. I'm going to go 28.
I have successfully stumped
Smiling.
Pat and John.
Fuck!
It's 29.
Shit!
I hate
Yes!
And Mikey wins again.
And it goes to 20.
Terrible.
21.
I really
That's my-
thought I'd
that's my
stump all of you
20th
guys
win.
with that one. Really
Damn.
thought I had you on that one.
And
I want to win this 69th time.
Sweet, sweet victory.
I'm going for Sweet 50 next week after my Wildcats win their 32nd SEC championship.
Yes.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Mike's rant of the week is going to be something that I think may be a little uncommon from a North Carolina fan these days, which is I want to I know I talked about it a little bit last night, but I wanted to expand upon my congratulations to the fantastic career of Jim Boeheim. As someone that grew up, that's rather close, Jamie. As someone, and I touched on it last night when John and I went live, but as someone that kind of grew up in the upstate, like Western New York region, I wasn't that close to Syracuse. I was, I think, 3.5 hours away in Elmira, but the Syracuse basketball permeates all of Western New York as far as like the culture of sports. And so, yeah, he's by far one of the greatest college basketball coaches, if not one of the best total basketball coaches ever. And so, no, as much as I hated playing you and your Syracuse orange, bastards, I hate people. It's just, I can't help but respect you. I mean, it was bittersweet to see a guy like Coach K go, who, of course, I don't like Duke because I'm a North Carolina fan, but
that was fun.
I have the utmost. Well, I mean, but I got to watch Coach K go out with North Carolina beating him. I didn't get that.
Yeah.
Stupid Wake Forest did it to Boeheim.
Yeah.
But no, just like the utmost respect to Boeheim and the legacy he leaves at Syracuse. I mean, we were saying last night, Jim Boeheim is Syracuse basketball. And I think for our generation and the generations before us will always be Syracuse basketball. We could be in our 90s, and if you say Syracuse basketball, you're still going to think Jim Boeheim because that's the legacy and tradition that he leaves the program. And I think Autry's going to be a good choice. And if Autry, doesn't spend as much time and it ends up being GMAC, I think that'd be great. But I think he leaves a lasting legacy for basketball in the state of New York, and I thank him for that because he's made the sport better.
Great rant.
Thank you for thanking him.
Thank you for thanking everything.
You're welcome to him.
Yes. I want to thank you for welcoming my thank you to you thanking him.
Well, thank you for thanking me.
All right. Any final thoughts, boys, before we head into the weekend?
I had one where I want to thank Mike for thanking Jim Boeheim.
All right.
Oh my God. Thank you.
Yes.
All right, Mike, stop.
Where to take off?
Take off. Ring the bell. No, yeah. I'm going to say this. The first words of this are going to be thank you. But thank you, everybody, out there for watching and listening to us wherever and whenever you may be. We appreciate you guys. We love doing this show together, and we love your feedback, your comments, the likes and shares, and the love you guys share with us because it's a great time. We always enjoy it. We always look forward to this show and this week, like this day every week. And so we appreciate you guys.
I want to thank you for thinking.
You're welcome.
All right, Jamie, go ahead with your soccer final thoughts.
No soccer thoughts.
No!
Let's go, Jerry Stackhouse. I want another shot
nice.
at Vandy. Beat LSU.
Yes, sir. Oh, sorry. Wrong thing. My bad.
I was thinking to myself, what did he say?
Damn, I saw a lot worse stuff than that.
Well, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. Make sure you go like, share, and subscribe on YouTube, Facebook. For audio, it's on Spotify, iHeart, and Apple Podcasts. We will see you here next week for our 50th episode. And we will see you next week. Let's go Orange. Even though we're out of the tournament.
Even though we might not make it.
On Instagram, baby.
Talking over everything.